Welcome to Build Your Best Business. I'm your host, Eric Holtzclaw. Build Your Best Business focuses on the entrepreneurial journey. What does it take to successfully start, manage, grow, and eventually exit a business if that's what's your plan? We are talking today with Mike Jackson. He is the co-founder and director of the big picture for HomeChatr.
Yes, sir.
HomeChatr LLC or just HomeChatr?
It's HomeChatr LLC.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So very interesting concept in the way that you've put this together. Tell us first, what is HomeChatr? And that's very it's a very nouveau. It's HomeChatr.
Yes. So the number one question I'm asked all the time is, why did you name it HomeChatr? So HomeChatr is our attempt at creating a better experience at the online home search process. Everybody knows Zillow, Realtor.com. So think Zillow, Realtor.com, but with the ability to ask a realtor a question in real time, not just fill out that little cheesy form.
Right.
You can actually click a button. They're everywhere on the website, and ask a real licensed realtor that knows your area questions about the area. If you can see the house, questions about the process of buying or selling a house in general, any question you could think of. There's a realtor available to answer the question in real time. No pressure, no obligation, just the answer to your question.
So talk to me about the concept or the idea of how did you come up with this? Why did you decide that this was the thing to build or do?
Like most things, when I first got my real estate license, I bought leads from certain companies. I won't.
None that we will name.
Yeah, none that we'll name, but I've already named them.
Too late.
And the leads were fine, but when you call people back, the experience. Oftentimes they say, "Thank you for calling me back," or "We didn't expect you to call back because I've done this 10 times and nobody called me back."
Oh, you're kidding.
And it was a terrible experience for them.
Huh.
And that's one side. The second side is for us, when people do online searches, sometimes they go place to place. And when they send that form, a lot of the times you're driving, or you could be doing anything. You don't necessarily not mean to call them back. You just call them back when you can. But by the time you call them back, they forgot that they even inquired about what they inquired about in the first place, or they've moved on to the next website and got their answer, or they just give up.
Right.
So
there's a delay between when the person is interested and when you actually get in touch with them.
Huge delay. And
we're an on-demand, instant everything society.
That's exactly what we've become, instant gratification. So it works well for the realtors as well that thrive off answering these questions, and hopefully this person likes them and they eventually become their client. So we feel it solves the problem from both sides. It's a better experience for the client, or the possible client, or the website visitor, because they get instant answers to their questions. And for us, it's better because before that person has a chance to move on to the next thing, we can address the issue. And if they love us, they might hire us, or, if not, we've answered their question regardless. Yeah.
Okay. So there are a lot of players involved in this. You've got the properties themselves, you've got the person who may be searching, then you've got the agents who are manning. So explaining the site to people just so that they understand. So it looks like it's kind of a combination of a search, but there's also the ability to chat with someone.
Yes, that's exactly what it is. It truly, our sites don't look that much like other sites, but basically when you go to a real estate search website, there's an option to search through houses.
Right.
Once you have that option, they list the different characteristics of the house, square footage, whatever. And lots of times people have questions about that. The typical experience is there's a little form. You put your name in, your phone number, or email address, whatever you decide, and you hit the send button and you sit there and wait.
Right.
With our experience, you hit the button and there's a realtor there's a chat box, traditional chat box that pops up, and you're instantly engaged two-way with a licensed realtor. And the way it works on our end, the way we make it work is I take a lot of the chats, but most of our realtors are trained to take those chats from the beginning.
Yeah.
It's not all of our realtors in the field, but we all have shifts that we take to actually man the chats. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's also, and realtors, and one of the reasons you get into real estate, and I was sharing with you before the show that my wife's a real estate agent, is a little bit of control over your time. So when you want to work is when you want to work. And so it allows them to say, hey, I want to sit and take take some questions if somebody has one.
Yep. A lot of the times those people turn into clients. So like I said, it's a good experience for everybody. But everybody's trained not to put pressure on the person asking a question. We really do. I'm tooting. This is not going to coming from me. It's not as sincere as it would be coming from somebody else, but I'm going to say it anyway.
Right.
We really are trained, and our realtors are trained to not put pressure on the person asking the question.
Yeah.
We want people to feel comfortable with coming to the site, asking a question, and they can move on to the next thing if they want to.
Yeah.
Yes, if the person says they don't have a realtor, we ask if they mind if a realtor contacts them real world, because a realtor is a good thing. That They need that help anyway. That's why they're on the site asking a question.
Well, and you do need a realtor. There's all this stuff about, because you and I'd have a real interesting conversation because there's some things I've seen where they're like, oh, you need to replace the realtor. There's so many things that happen in the process that you need to have someone who knows how to help you negotiate that, and how to, the concept of removing the realtor from the equation, it's foolhardy. It's like trying to do your taxes on your own, which I also don't advise you do.
It's ridiculous. But people think that mainly it's the real estate industry's fault.
Yeah.
Everything else had a bubble 10 years ago.
Right.
Real estate, well, a technology bubble, I should say. Real estate is just now starting their technology bubble, but people have been ready for us to change, embrace technology for the last 7-8 years now. We're coming around, and all companies are. Technology is a part of real estate brokerage's pitch to realtors now. So technology is a viable thing in what we do, and embracing what people actually want is another thing. The problem is, disruptors 5 years ago created the "we don't need realtors" thing, not because they don't need us.
Yeah.
It's because they were tired of our outdated technologies and tactics and techniques. They definitely need realtors, 100%. Trying to do it alone
and don't believe every estimate you look at.
Definitely not.
Not to mention any names. So the thing with yours, were you a technologist at heart before you did this, or did you decide this was something you? Because you said, so the story you told me is you got into real estate, you're buying leads, they were okay, and you felt like people weren't responding quickly, so you wanted to build something that would allow you to respond to people who were actively looking, right? So did you already know how to do that, or was that something you had to go figure out?
Oh no, I had to go figure it out. It was the first version of HomeChatr.com. I'm ashamed of.
Oh You'll look back and there's that website Wayback Machine. You can go look at your own websites.
Whoa, I forgot about that. But yes, it was the thing I wanted. But over time with technology, I don't have a technology background. I'm not a developer. I'm a marketer and a promoter at heart. But I'm also an entrepreneur at heart. So I went through the same bumps, bruises that everybody goes through. At first, I built what I wanted. People didn't like it. And eventually I listened to the feedback I was getting and some of the things they wanted. And then eventually I started to build it the way people wanted it. And then it started getting better and better. And, I learned that lesson about listening to feedback. It'll save you a whole lot of money.
Right.
And I did that over time. And because of money, I did try to do a lot of the things myself in the beginning. But over time, I learned that even the fact that I was working with a small amount of money, it's still a better investment to take that small amount of money, invest in people that know what they're doing 100%, and oversee the whole thing. So I learned a lot of lessons as I was doing it.
So, but not being a technologist, because that's one of the things that can be scary, right? You're going out and you're potentially buying something you don't know. Mm-hmm. So how did you know who to partner with? Was it because you had stubbed your toes enough that you were like, yeah, I know that I've got it. How did you know where to go and partner? How did you make that choice?
Trial and error. That really was what it was. I didn't necessarily have a technology mentor that I could call. I literally Googled companies, and through trial and error, ended up with a combination of people that I felt comfortable with building what we needed. And I always, even when I was doing it wrong, I still knew what I wanted. So, even when you're working with people, it's never been a real issue for me. So, and telling people that, no, that's not how I want it, and moving on has never been an issue for me either. So
that's a good thing.
Right.
Yeah, right.
So just trial and error. There have been several versions of HomeChatr.com. But now that, we feel we're on the right track. And even if it's not perfect, we listen to feedback every day and we make little tweaks.
Yeah, that was right into my next question.
Okay.
So how are you listening to feedback? So what's your process? And you talk about the first version going out and you're kind of embarrassed. You shouldn't be, because you got to have something out there for people to react to. Because
Right.
you can say something about, people don't know if they like it or not until they get to experience it.
Yes.
And then they can tell you, oh yeah, I really don't like that. And you're like,
Yes.
well, that's sad because that's what I built you, so now I got to go redo it.
Mm-hmm.
But how do you take that feedback? How do you learn how to improve the product today?
Well, not to toot my own horn, but it's a skill, because most people don't. And that's why most things don't end up working out. That's for me, I think that's a huge reason, is that people refuse to change it and make it what people want it to be instead of what's in your mind. But over time, I've developed a team of people that I trust. So the first thing I start with, in particular, Renee Jemison, she's been a realtor for a long time. She is the perfect person to talk to about what people want versus what I want, because she's been a realtor for 16 years. She's seen a little bit of everything, and she's worked with all kinds of clients. And she'll tell me in a heartbeat, no, we need to do it this way. This is why. So she's on, I've developed over time a really strong board of advisors.
Yeah.
That's the first thing. And the second thing is Google Analytics. There's all kind of heat maps, and you can see what people like and don't like in real time at this point on your site. So the things that
So
people
it's kind
don't
of a combination
touch,
of qualitative and quant. So you've got
absolutely, absolutely. But my team around me is they've all been in their perspective thing for a long time. Renee's been a realtor for 16 years. She works closely with the developer. The developer works closely with the user interface guy, and we all work together really well. And we have some heated debates about what to try and what not to try. But eventually, we end up in a good place. And
so going through and thinking about, sometimes real estate agents, you said they're kind of late to technology. So that whole chat concept, has that been something that they've been able to adopt easily? Or is that, because I talked about the different user groups for you, right? You've got the person using the system, but you've also got the agent on the back end who's got to figure out how to use chat and some of these other features.
So no, it has not been. But recently the conversation has changed completely, but it's mainly because of our industry. It's, like I said, real estate, I don't think it was the chat. Like people, when I have said it to people, typically, the light bulb kind of goes off. Wow, that's interesting. But then the conversation is over.
Right.
Now, our industry, even our trade magazines, whereas our trade magazines used to focus on numbers mostly, the number one place that houses are selling for right now, the hottest market, blah, blah, blah. There is that information still, but the other 50% information is now about technology, different tools that we have, what acquisitions these companies are making. And these are technology acquisitions that they're making. So now realtors, I would say tech is 25% of our conversation now. It's really changed. Actually, I wanted to slow down a little bit because we were a little comfortable in our thinking a few years ago, because nobody else was thinking or talking like that. And as uncomfortable as it was talking to people about it, trying to make them see the
light,
see the light, now everybody's always like, oh yeah, chat. Okay, that's a really good idea. And tech is a part of it. So we feel like right now there's not really competition in our space, that little bitty niche of taking chats on your website or providing a third party service to take chats by realtors to other brokers, whatever that is. But it's coming. So we actually wanted to slow down so we can get a little bit more time to get our name out there.
Okay, well, we're going to go to a commercial break, and when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit about some of the lessons learned along the way, maybe where you're headed next, things I might need to know if I were out searching for a home, or those kind of things. So
absolutely.
I'm talking today with Mike Jackson. He's the co-founder and director of The Big Picture at HomeChatr. That is Home, CHATR, LLC. We'll be back in just a minute. You're listening to Build Your Best Business. Congratulations, you're your own boss. Now comes the hard part. It's not just about starting a business, it's about successfully managing and growing that business to an eventual exit. And along that entrepreneurial journey, you're going to run into questions and problems that you need quick answers to. Things like, do you need a business plan? How do you read a balance sheet? How do you talk to an investor? When do you bring on a founder? Or what if you're having problems with your partner? These are the types of things that you run into as you're trying to grow that business to the next level, and they may not be the things you want to share in public with other people. They're the problems and issues that arise that, as I have experienced along my own entrepreneurial journey, that I needed to have someone I could trust to reach out to and have a conversation and get a different perspective. And it was often those short conversations that would be the thing that moved me from where I was to where I needed to be. It's for that reason I created the On-Demand CXO product offering. On-Demand CXO is something that you can use to have a conversation with a trusted advisor about what's going on in your business. We do a 1-hour phone call to talk about your business, talk about your objectives, and understand what it's going to take to move you from where you are today to where you want to be tomorrow. From there, you have ongoing access to a Slack channel to ask me questions in private about what's going on in your business so that I can provide some advice or connections to my network to individuals who can help you solve against that problem. You will also have access to my Facebook page, which is full of other entrepreneurs who are along the same journey, to have more broad conversations, things that you trust and would talk about in a networking event. But when you need to go and have that conversation with a trusted advisor, you will have the ability to have a conversation with me in a place that's safe, completely anonymous, and unbiased. I want to see you succeed and build your very best business. And we're back. You're listening to Build Your Best Business. I'm your host, Eric Holtzclaw. We're talking today with Mike Jackson. He's the co-founder and director of The Big Picture at HomeChatr. That's CHATR. It was a really interesting technology that kind of combines home search with the ability to chat with a real agent, with an agent, and chatting, you need to chat to an agent, like somebody who knows real estate,
Exactly.
right?
Exactly.
And so let's talk about the kind of challenges, but growth. I know that we talked in the first segment about technology and finding a technology person or finding the right people to help you kind of move the product along. But I could recognize or think of other challenges that might be there because of just the industry itself. You know, were you a broker when you started this? Did you have to become a broker? Is this technology just for your firm, or are you allowing other firms to use it? Like, talk to me a little bit about that.
All good questions. So your first one, when you get your real estate license, which I got in 2010, you have to go and be a part of another brokerage for 3 years, do a certain amount of education before you can become a broker. In actuality, I did come up with the HomeChatr concept when I was with another real estate firm. That real estate firm, when you are a realtor, you submit your ideas for a website to them. That's a part of our regulations. When I did, they said, you can't do this unless you're a broker. And that's when I started really making plans to become my own brokerage. And
so that kind of pushed you up that path.
It did. It did. Becoming my own brokerage to start this particular concept. It did.
Okay.
Yes.
And so then, is this something that you're seeing just as a unique selling proposition for your brokerage, or is it something that you see as a technology you're licensing to other brokerages? Like, because you have lots of different revenue models, right? Some people I talk to have built some technology without a revenue model.
Yeah, I think you have a
make a company.
I'm putting my head down as you said it, because we've fallen into that trap in the beginning.
Right.
It seems like you're in our meetings. We had a meeting about this a couple days ago. So the answer to your question is yes, our technology is open to other brokerages. We can take chats for other brokerages too. We're just launching the product. That one of the products I'm not going to mention quite yet, but let's just say that when you drive around and you're looking at yard signs and you call a realtor and you can't get them ever, you're notorious for that. We're fixing that problem where you can engage and chat from those yard signs with one of our realtors or whichever brokerage firm that has the listings, realtors. So we're really excited about that particular product. But
Yeah, because it's a very interesting enabling technology. I haven't seen it in the stuff. And being married to a real estate agent, I hear about all the stuff,
Yep,
right?
yep.
You know,
Lucky
what's working, what's not working, you know,
Or
that kind of thing. Right. So the technology itself and it being new, you know, starting to see it sort of merge across and, you know, things that make sense for multiple people to be using. Because if it's part of your brokerage, which is great, it's a unique reason, but it definitely has application across the industry.
Man, when you sound like you need to come on board with HomeChatr. That's good reasoning. That's good. That's good stuff. Yes, we've talked about that. We've been talking about it for a while. What we're not gonna we haven't dialed into a particular revenue model though. We have them there. The traditional brokerage we are.
Yeah,
you know,
right.
Our realtors go out and they do realtor things and we have that model. But we don't want to get comfortable in that model either. We really feel that we are 75% technology customer service company and then 25% realtor. And what our realtors do a lot of is spend time on education and training so that when people have those questions, we do it. We can answer them. But a part of being able to answer those questions is being in the field and in the real world too.
Right.
So, you know, we do a really good combination of in-office training, customer service stuff, but we make sure they're in the world selling houses too, so that when people ask those questions that they need a realtor to answer, we can answer it from real world experience. Exactly. So it's a strange combination because we haven't seen it before and we're creating it. Yeah. But it's fun. It's fun. And we get it wrong sometimes, but we're really good at correcting mistakes as soon as we see that it's a mistake.
Yeah. And so talk to me about either challenges that you're running into today, things, what's next for you? What are the things, if you could wave a magic wand and get rid of them, what are some of the things that you're struggling with to try to get the business to the next level?
The number one challenge that I have personally, and I hear it across other businesses, but I'll put it on myself, is personnel, hiring the proper personnel, realtors included. We're bootstrapped right now. So, you know, the amount, we know that all talented people that we come across are worth what they're asking for.
Right.
But some of those people we can't pay. Yeah. So finding a good combination of people that believe in what we're doing, they will accept what we're able to pay right now.
Right.
And making sure they're still high level people. That's a true challenge. The technology part, accepting the fact that we need to lean on people's feedback, advice, and really lean on our website visitors for what they want and what they need to provide. That's actually more of a challenge than I thought it would be, because I didn't think I was as sensitive as I was, as I am I should say. But, you know, when you create these things and you present them, you want people to like them.
Oh, see, so that's so funny. Like, I owned a research company before this. So from 2002 to 2012, I owned a research company. And the reason I did is in 95, I had built a product. It was one of the first websites that you could go to and buy something and use your credit card. And we took it into what was called then a usability lab. So could people use it? And I thought it was the stupidest idea ever. My marketing person drug us in because I was running the development shop, right? Yes. And I'm like, why are we going to do this? This is ridiculous, right? Yes. 10 minutes into it, the person didn't know how to register. They couldn't enter their credit card. They couldn't search. They was like, this is amazing, right? Like watching them do that. But you do have to put your ego to the side and be like, I built it and it's terrible. I tell people it's like it was a wonderful, miraculous failure. It was like, and then you knew what to go back and correct, and you have to be okay with that. And that is a problem entrepreneurially because you're an ego. Like you can't do this without an ego.
There you go. Right? Exactly.
So going for, Atlanta, we're based here in Atlanta for those of you that are listening, and there's lots of different resources here. There's different organizations and groups. Are there some that you've tapped into that you've seen helpful? Has it been more the real estate side, or has it been some of the tech groups here? Like what's helped you along the way?
A combination of both. We do some tech groups. We're actually getting ready to host our own at HomeChatr HQ on 17th and Peachtree in Midtown. Yeah. So we're getting ready to host our own once a month, and it's going to be a forum / training for other brokers that. One of the bigger challenges, like we talked about earlier, was finding a developer that could get this built. And it sounds like they're out there everywhere, but they're not. It's, I'm sure there's plenty of them on Craigslist, but the ones that function and don't have to advertise on Craigslist, they're hard to find. Yeah. And they're hard to, affordability is an issue with those guys as well. So we know there's other brokers, other people, other businesses out there that want to get things built to function the way they want. So we're starting to host that forum once a month. And
wow, you really are an entrepreneur. You're thinking multiple. I can see in your head. There's all kinds of stuff you could be doing. Yeah.
I mean, we want to take what we've done and do some of it for the good of the world.
Yeah.
But there's nothing wrong with selling things either.
No, right. Well, and then the lessons that you've learned. I mean, that's
Correct.
a great way to build that services business is to like this. We know this stuff works, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes. So we're doing some of that. As far as the real estate side, like I said, I know, and I've said this name already, but Renee Jemison is, she's our VP of Professional Behavior and an Amazing Experience. That's her title. We come up with pretty cool titles at the company. But she is, it fits her really well because she's been doing real estate so long and so many people in the industry trust her.
Yeah.
That she does a lot of the outreach to other brokers, other agents, and invites them to training. She set something up for next week, and we invite other realtors there. It's not unique to us. A lot of other brokerages do it too.
Right.
But she takes care of the other the realtor outreach, and I do some of it too. But people become confused when when you're trying to represent the real estate side and the technology side. We've come a long way, but we haven't come that far.
Right. Yeah.
So I tend to confuse them. So Renee handles a lot of the forward-facing real estate agent, real estate broker things, and I tend to stay on the tech and marketing side.
Yeah, well, you got to have some of that division so that things get focused and move forward, and there's not too much separation. So, as you think about future, we talked a little bit about that. I have to kind of pull that out of people, but yeah, I can tell you're already thinking about what does that future look like. So, I mean, future for the business, but also even from a real estate perspective. We're in Atlanta, which is just booming from a real estate perspective. I think we need to build more infrastructure. Like, could we build more houses on top of each other and then not build another road,
another bridge that was correctly correct? Right.
Yeah. So, talk to me about what kind of patterns does that cause? What does that do for your business? What are you seeing if you had to look in the crystal ball?
I'll talk on the technology side and the technology as it relates to real estate. So one of the bigger things that we're focusing on in our company is the next experience. We actually have video chat. Right now, we talked about text chat. We actually have video chat ready to go. We just click a button, but we want it to function correctly. We're also launching an app in 3 months that focuses on that experience.
Oh, yeah.
If you're at a house and you see one you like, you can't get the realtor on the phone, you can chat live with a realtor and you can have a video chat with that realtor. And it's not just when you're in front of a house. If you're on our website,
right.
If you're scrolling on your phone, you download the app, you can chat live with a realtor through video. So that is our next big push. But after that, we're talking about, we were really excited about the things that Apple built into the new iPhone software, the augmented reality stuff. So we're trying to figure out how to put that into the experience, maybe giving tours when people, 60% of the questions we get on the website when people engage in a chat with us is, can I see this house? That's the number one question.
They
can
found
I see
something.
This house?
They want to talk about it, right?
Yes. So that is a problem we're trying to use our technology to solve, and I'll leave it at that. But augmented reality is a part of it, and it's becoming a everyday conversation. So we know we have to hurry up because somebody else is going to do it first. Can I see this house? We're working on the solution to that problem because it's such a common thing, and it's people should be able to see a house without necessarily getting in the car, causing more congestion, messing up the roads like we talked about.
Well, at least starting with the fact, because the pictures tell you one thing, but to be able to walk through it. In my example, I was in DC this past week and we were in Airbnb, and the pictures online made it feel like the loft was upstairs and it was actually in the basement, and it was really weird.
How did that work?
Don't ask. So, but it was from the pictures. And if I had walked through it instead, I would have been like, oh, it's a hole in the floor. I don't want to sleep in the floor. On the floor, I'm okay with it being upstairs, but being felt a little Silence of the Lambs.
Yes.
So, that kind of thing, I could have gotten rid of that as a choice if I had a better feeling for what that meant.
Yes.
Right. So anyway. Well, I wish you the most of luck. It's a very interesting, I love seeing how you're applying technology to the industry. It's one that's going to stay. Like, we're not worried about, people are still going to be buying houses.
Yes.
Like, this is something that you have to do.
Yes,
and
buy houses, please.
no, absolutely. We don't ever want people not to buy or build houses.
Apply,
again.
please.
So,
Please.
so anyway, so you've been listening to Build Your Best Business. I'm your host, Eric Holtzclaw. We've been talking with Mike Jackson. He's the co-founder and director of The Big Picture at HomeChatr, which is Home, CHATR. Be sure to check them out. And until next time, what are you going to do to build your best business?